Is Jubilee going to be a complete meme as she is seen in the X-Men? No, she's not. And by the way, don't expect him to say anything. Is he going to say anything? He's not, because I've not turned him on. See, it's not like the other video. It's different. Some videos he talks, some he doesn't. The same principle as the other video, there will be something in the description or the pinned comment just going over some of the things that I've taken as bullet points, that are relevant bits of information. That's not so wordy as some of the stuff that you see on screen. So yeah, this champion looks like it's got more utility to it, especially from a point of view of having pre-fight abilities and also switching between different types of elements of utility. To give you a quick example, she gets different types of colors of fireworks. You can see here orange, pink, blue, depending if she's in this firework surge. Do bear with us, we will be going over the full information of that. But when you go into the special attacks, you can get things like a shock debuff. You can also get things like a slow debuff. So if you're looking for options of champions to take against different and various circumstances, then this could be one of those champions that mixes the high damage with damage output, but as well retains things of buffs, and in particular building up those prowess buffs, maxing to a stack of 12, which is going to be very, very handy, but you have to be out of the fireworks surge. But let's go over some of the mechanics and information. Command label Jubilee as creating orange, pink and blue fireworks, allowing her to burn, suppress and concuss her opponents, among many other things. Jubilee can enter a firework surge to double down on her powerful firework abilities. But one of the great things about this champion is it doesn't matter if a champion is immune to something or shrugs off something or purifies something, she's able to deal with those situations thusly. With when awakened, Jubilee is able to punish champions that purify or debuffs with bursts of energy damage. And this is why it might be one of those candidates of a champion that is actually really good to be awakened, especially with each time one of Jubilee's personal debuff expires on the opponent, deal a burst of 2041 energy damage. Each time the opponent purifies any debuff, deals a burst of 3315 energy damage. Incredibly handy. But as well, you'll have to see the extent of damage output when I get to play this champion for the CCP stuff. Then it's going to be interesting to find out when and how much the damage will be there. When being like how consistently can you get off that rate of damage, and how many signatures. I mean, yeah, of course it's going to be 200 signatures to get like the highest amount of the energy damage that you can give out. But how consistently and how frequently is that going to happen, especially to give it this kind of like fun ramp up or fun explosion, so to speak. Now, I must commend Kabam on the design, especially for Strife and Jubilee, because it's fantastically done. And little elements of detail which I like. Jubilee's energy plasmoids cause basic attacks to deal energy damage instead of physical. That can be massively helpful in certain aspects, not in others, especially if champions are energy resistant. That's going to be a crucial thing. Pre-fight ability, Jubilee can rotate through orange, pink and blue fireworks, throwing a light, medium, lead attacks rotates fireworks. So it means that you can switch between them quite easily. If you want the utility from doing the slow debuff on the SP1, or you want something else from doing the taunt debuff, then at least you've got that option how you go into a special attack. Light, and then special, medium, special, just stuff like that. I mean, it seems pretty self-explanatory. But the main thing is, like, do you want to go away from the fireworks surge? Because that's another important thing. With you going away from it, if you do a heavy attack, when charging a heavy attack while a fireworks surge is active, remove the fireworks surge, which is handy if you want to, on all attacks, gain a prowess buff. And if you land, hit or striking into the block, has a 50% chance to apply a prowess buff, increasing special attack damage by 13% until the end of the next special attack, which is max 12 stacks. So as these are prowess buffs, that's going to be handy for stuff like buffed up if you're going up against that node, and just like handy for the monthlies. I think there's going to be definitely a contender for Cavalier difficulty once a month for usage. And I like it. I think it's nice to see in one of these ramp ups. It's got that element of random rotation that you get from Diablo. Not random. You've got rotations you get from like the likes of Diablo, and also many other champions. I can't think of the moment, but also has that element of build up a prowess, which Gambit has, and several other champions as well. So I guess people that might be a fan of Gambit meets like a different type of rotation champion. You know, Sorcerer Supreme. The list goes on of champions. I mean, you all know what champions I'm referring to, but I guess, you know, there will be people out there that will like this type of rotation type champion. This is, I guess, where the prowess comes in, especially if you're looking to inflict a shock debuff and consume all damaging debuffs for Jubilee. For each damaging debuff consumed, inflict another shock debuff dealing like X amount of damage. But, you know, you could use to like maximize stuff like utility. Maybe you need the enemy to throw special attacks, so like, you know, you'll do Taunt debuff, or if not, you do the slow debuff because you've got an enemy that's kind of like overly evadey and you don't like it. So that could be again, the utility side of things is really kind of like stacking up quite nicely there. When it comes to the SP3, the developer says that the showstopper allows Jubilee to double the amount of prowess she can have. This makes the debuffs on the SP1 attack extra long and extra damage is a plus. Damn right. So I don't know whether or not this would be a case of like building up to those, building up those prowess debuffs, prowess buffs, and then hitting off an SP3, and then kind of like going, okay, well I'm ready now to do a load of like SP1s and rotation. But that's more of maybe, as it says, for like longer fights and stuff like that. So pretty exciting. Nevertheless, I do think that's going to be very, very fun. We've talked about the signature ability, what's on offer for the various different other champions as part of the synergy grouping. So for Gambit, funny enough, we talked about Gambit. Gambit's there, and Jubilee gets prowess potency with Gambit on the team, or Rogue, and Rogue gets attack rating for each unique buff. Handy, but it's very difficult to get consistent buff grabbing from Rogue. But you could try and see if there was anything with the Heimdall synergy. That might be quite an interesting pair up to get all those different kind of buffs from that. But, you know, we'll have to see. Definitely worth some testing. And also we've got things like Cyclops for energy resistance, and Phoenix as well. Get attack rating increase. Nice. Wolverine gets a critical damage rating increase. I don't know if there's like anything super substantial here so far, especially with like Longshot and Mojo. So yeah, well, while blue fireworks are active whenever the opponent ability fail trigger, Jubilee begins a prowess passive. I mean, that's handy, especially if you're doing the ability actually reduction, especially with the fireworks. Apart from that, yeah, just little kind of improvements to the damage output, and Jubilee's pink fireworks with Sentinel are active. Jubilee's special attacks cost 10% less power. And then finally, max health improvement with Dr. Octopus, Falcon, Hawkeye, or Hitmonkey on the team. So look, that is it really. That covers all that. I'm relatively hyped for Jubilee, especially as like a collector of mutant-based characters. I do think that the player base will go and be more interested with Strife over Jubilee, but definitely when it comes to the utility factor that Jubilee has, it's there. And as well, the damage output can be there, especially on the rotations of building up those prowess, doing the SP3 and SP1, and getting that choice of starting in a pre-fight, which I think is pretty amazing to have. I think these are two solid champions to start off 2021 with, and yeah, props to Kabam, what I've seen thus far. But obviously do bear in mind, this is on paper, and what we are likely to see may be very different, so do look out for footage to see whether or not the champions are any good. And that has been the third video of today. Make sure to support all content posted today. There may be a fourth and final video, I'm not quite sure, because I need to go on live stream. But yeah, thanks very much for supporting, and see you all very soon. Bye bye.